Hello, Ian here from Blacklet's Workshop. Welcome back to another video. This one we're painting Ginny. Okay, so another student, another Weasley. The recipes are fairly similar. I'm trying to keep the colour schemes for the students to a limited palette, so that's exactly the same colours that we're going to use. And obviously a Weasley is going to be the same recipe for the hair as well, but there's a little bit of change here and there, but just try and keep it interesting. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's go. Okay, making a start on Ginny then. As you can see, she's been primed using zenithal priming with an airbrush, which creates the highlights and shadows already for us. And I'm going to start with the skin, and it'll be the same colours that I used on Luna, which is Scale 75's Pale Skin. You can use Kislev Flesh if you prefer Games Workshop stuff, and slightly lighter skin tone for the girls. Okay, so that's a couple of coats of the skin done. We're going in now with a sepia wash. Let's push it up into the hairline as well. I'm just using my brush to soak up the excess. Okay. So moving on to the skirt, I'm using the Hogwarts mix of paint, water and flow improver with German grey. Probably the same colours as I've done with Luna, the Weasley twins. Just remember to pull the paint down the way. Okay. Right, on to Ginny's hair. I'm going to keep it the same as the Weasley twins, so that was Citadel Skrag brown. It's a lovely reddy brown. Or light reddy brown, I should say. Almost orange, but there's still a brown tone in there. Perfect for ginger hair. So this will take a couple of coats. So I'll carry on with that off camera. Onto the jumper, standard Hogwarts uniform of Warpfiend grey. Can't really pull the paint down because there's so many awkward arm positions and hands in the way, and so I'll just try and pull it into the creases. And that's where the pigment will settle, and hopefully we'll keep our shadows and highlights Okay, so the shade for the Weasley here is Agrax Earthshade. I don't think there's many curls and deep creases where we can let it pool, so it may take a couple of what I call controlled washes where we just wash it into separate strands, but we'll see how it goes. Okay. Apologies, but I've had to do some fiddly bits off camera. The tie, Averland Sunset and Yriel Yellow 50-50 mix, and then the dark red stripe along it. The V's on the cardie, they're exactly the same as Luna and the other Weasleys. It's like a German grey line on the seam, and then in between the cardie and the shirt I've done another line, and then either side of the tie. The skin is exactly the same as the Luna lion hat. It's a scale 75 mix of pale skin and light skin, and using a purpley brown for the shadows. So I'm going to do the hair now, so I'm going with the same formula as it did with the Weasley twins. If you remember, we've already done Skrag brown there and an Agrax watch. The first highlight now is a 50-50 mix of Skrag mixed with a bright orange. I think it's Fire Dragon Bright. So it's fairly thin, and you know the drill, just picking out. It's quite a good one because you can see the strands, so I'm just going to pick out the strands. It's just like a layering technique for this. We get a brush with a nice tip on it, and you can follow the hair all the way down. It's good for your brush control technique. Because I'm just using the absolute tip of the brush now. So I'm going to carry on and do that, and once I've done that, we'll start the next stage. I've done 2 coats there of the 50-50 mix. What I've done now is added in more of the orange, the Fire Dragon Bright, so it's pretty much, well, I'd say about 90% orange. A little bit of Skrag brown in it, just to take the edge off it, and I'm going in again with a highlight now. And I'm just staying up. I made a mistake there, I'll clean that up. Just staying up the top half of the head. I'm not following the strands all the way down. From that bit because it might be in, yeah. Looks like the light might catch it. I'll come out that bit there. Although that's not too bad now, it's not going to make that much difference, so I'll leave that. Okay, I'll do another coat and we'll come back. Okay, so there's 2 coats of that. I've added in a little bit of yellow to it now, so it's more or less the Fire Dragon Bright with Yriel Yellow added in. I've gone very thin. In fact, I think I'll go thinner. Remember, you can always test this on your thumbnail, how it shows up. So I'll go like that. I think just about, yeah, that was pretty good because that'll dry away to hardly anything. And I'm just going to stay same as the Weasley twins. I'm staying up on the crown of the head, so I'll tilt the mini forward and I'll refocus so it doesn't go, so we can see what's going on. Like I said, we're going to stay up on the crown of the head. So I don't want to go down the sides at all. Sorry, I'm struggling to get my head in there. I might move the light a little bit. Just picking out the strands and I'm staying up the top. So I'm going to do a couple of coats of that and see what we get. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Add a little bit. You can add a little bit more yellow in. It depends how reddy orangey you want to get. But if you do make a mistake and you start to lose the, see I've got the dark and the light there side by side. If you do lose that, just go back in with the Agrax and put a line in and start again. Just build up the colour as you go. So that is the head finished. I think we'll go on to the clothes next. So onto the skirt. I've got remember we used German grey for the base coat. I've got a 50-50 mix of German grey and I've mixed it with a heavy blue grey, or any intermediate grey that you've got knocking about, like I don't know, but a Dawnstone sort of colour or Mechanicus standard grey. I'm just doing a quick highlight of the folds of the skirt. And while that's, I think they've developed a whistle. While that's still wet, I'm going in with the German grey again, but I'm going into the folds, the deep recesses. There. The jumper I got Slaanesh grey, and I like to have my lighting from above, so the highlights are going to be up here. Let's push the paint up. That's going to be on the top part of the arm. I just pick out each crease. This will probably take a couple of coats just to pick everything out. Right, so on the top of the fold there, I've got to say I'm about 50% paint, 50% water. We'll leave that dry and come back. So I lost a bit of the mid-tone, so I'm going, well, the shadows really. I'm going back in with I did a 50-50 mix for the skirt. I'm using that for the recesses of the folds. Because I was losing a bit of the contrast that I wanted. Once we do a highlight now, it'll start to look okay. So I've got the Slaanesh grey again. I'm pushing the pigment up. To the top and picking out folds. I might have to go a shade lighter as well. That's looking not too bad. I've added a little bit of white to the Slaanesh grey now for another highlight, and I'm staying up the top here and picking out the folds. Right, starting to get there now. So for the tights, using Vallejo's medium flesh tone, but I'm adding a little bit of black to it. And it actually turns into a weird kind of olive green. But it's quite nice for doing tights. Yeah, it's like a... It's like a dark flesh tone, really. But if you take your flesh tone, say like Cadian flesh, and add a bit of black to it, just to darken it down, and then you can add a little bit of flesh tone to that mix for your highlight. It should give a nice effect, really, with tights. I used it on some of the Batman stuff I've done before, you know, superhero kind of stuff, and it worked quite well. Hopefully it'll work well here too. Right. Okay, so I've done 2 coats now, and it's still slightly wet, and I've added more flesh tone to the original mix. And I'm going straight over the top with it now, and decided which area is going to be in the light. So it's going to be down this side of her leg, and I'm going to do the calves as well. I'll just do a line there. And I'll just feather it off with water and push the pigment up of it. And we'll leave that dry and do it again. Okay, so I've done 2 coats of that, and I've added more flesh tone to it. I'm still nowhere near getting close to, you know, the original colour of the flesh, so there's no danger of going too light here. And I'm going to do another coat, but I'm starting a little bit further up the leg. Remember, I was down here last time, but now I'm just about at the top of the calf. And I'll just pull it up. And then I'll do the back of the calf there. And the same deal, wet the brush. Feather it off so it blends to the previous layer. If you put too much water in, just pull it all up towards the knee. And I'm going to leave it there actually. I think I'm fairly happy with the tights. So, yeah, I'll take some nice pics and we'll do a wrap up. Okay, there we go, another one done. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, get in touch in the comments below if you need any help or anything. I'd love to help you out if I can. But that's it for me for now. We'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.